talking English. John, can you translate, John? I'm pretty sure you
No,
can't read these languages.
I can't read. No, I can't
Okay.
read English even. So I know what help I'd be to you, Mike.
All right. Let these players talk it out in their own languages. Team 1, they're going to secure the top bounties, and it looks like GXR, we are going to have a quick disconnection here from Alacrity, but they will be able to secure both bottom bounties, no problem. Any lanes you think we should watch out for in particular? Like any spicy lane? Oh, Jesus, there's more people disconnecting. All right, let's not go too far, boys. One at a time. Starting to get a little bit worried as more people just disconnect from the game. Any lanes, though, John, that we should be watching carefully?
I'm keen to see where Cuckoo actually goes. He's stuck right now in the bot lane. He's hanging in the tree line. He chopped the tree down. Looks like they might go for that lane swap. Maybe put Savage up top. Savage is kind of lined up to walk towards the top lane. So it's a bit of a lane swap here. Keen to see how much they can get done. Like the Terrorblade avoids the Darkseer Nyx lane, which again, when you don't have Metamorphosis up, it feels pretty painful for Savage to last hit in melee form against the Iron Shells. And those are two tanky heroes. So you're going to have a Luna versus Terrorblade lane, which feels a little bit more manageable and gives you some potency with your early reflection levels. Like we see some Terrorblade players go for that level 1. Luna, once the levels are built up, even just the value point in reflection is...
Question came up, John, but have you had Merienda today? I'm asking you a bit early this time.
It is early. It is early. I haven't yet because it's like 2 o'clock. Ideal time is like 3 o'clock. You know, if you want to get that perfect merienda time, it's like 3 to 4. And that's when you bring out the bibinka, you bring out the kape barako, and have a good time. Not yet, but I'll probably have a cup of coffee later. You know, to go along with my mate. I've been really enjoying it. I think I've been drinking a bit too much actually, but I guess there's no such thing as too much of that one.
No. Mid lane, you've got Alacrity and Carl against each other. Looks like, I was saying this earlier, but Carl should have a pretty decent advantage, right? Like, at least in terms of harassment, it's going to be hard for Alacrity to really decide when he goes in for those CS. And you expect Carl to really harass him quite hard as time goes on.
Yeah, I like that he's already set up for that lane as well. He's going for the Dragon Slave level 1. We tend to see a lot of Lenas still stick to ELC. So just having Dragon Slave leads to easier wave clear, easier harass. Still going for the Fiery Soul as level 1 Resonant Pulse doesn't block out too much damage. So you can still win out the trade harassment with Alacrity. And you can kind of see Carl just pulling ahead in the first few waves, already setting up. Alacrity, by the time he hits 3 or 4 though, it should feel a lot more playable. And you can't allow him to keep landing these remnants as well. That's his big DPS moment. Lots of right-click damage can come out, and if you cop too much from Carl with the remnants, you will kind of lose out. So it's a balancing act for both sides.
Yeah, it certainly is. Of course, at the top lane, you've got Whitemon there with 23 Savage against In Your Dream on that Luna. And well, there's your reflection out. Meta popped as well with the Earth Spike. It just happened so darn fast. In Your Dream, he's going to try and juke this one out, but he is completely alone right now. Polison's on the side trying to get a pull off, and In Your Dream, he is going to be able to TP in the end, so it's not all too bad. He will just have to take a salve off Polison, and bot lane is where the first blood does occur. Mizu is able to secure Cuckoo as now Zephyr is also going to be chased down. But this is that combo we talked about in the off lane. The Darkseer Nyx Assassin, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, it's just a lot of damage output early on and a lot of durability on these 2 melee heroes. I mean, it's 2 melees versus a melee range, but there's not much Winter Wyvern at level 1 can do to stop it. So you're going to have to wait for a little bit.
He's trying, he'll salve up. He might just make it. Just barely in the tree line, but Cuckoo, he'll go after Mizu instead. Mizu's trying to bottle up and does make it out as the impels there from Jokam. They will just barely survive.
That's a pretty nice win for GXR. Unfortunately, that does force Jokam all the way back to the base. So he's going to have to teach
a lot of damage. Mizu, he's going to be able to trade their lives. So Jokam goes down, but you get Cuckoo, and that's going to be well worth it for the side of GXR. Mizu proving to be very annoying with that Iron Shell, and I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, double Iron Shell, it's just too much damage.
Yeah, it really is. And as a Winter Wyvern, you can't really block that out with a Cold Embrace. You don't even have a value point in it for Zephyr. That's a great kill to get because you get the solo EXP on the Darkseer. So Mizu hits his level 5. He has his Iron Shell at level 3. And the damage output now, if they do that again, it will most certainly land him the kills. Cuckoo, he's been sort of struggling in this off lane for a bit, lagging a bit behind in CS, died a couple of times. needs to be a lot more cautious. Like, they're always constantly shoved in on a creep wave as well, and they don't have creeps to just kind of tank through for them because of how aggressive GXR's posturing is. So they just kind of have to take what they can get and play a lot more passive here.
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, luckily he is playing Brewmaster anyway, so I suppose in a sense it's just all about the XP, but you do want that Midas into the Aghanim Scepter. It is quite important as Zephyr's made another rotation mid. Alacrity does have the step charges up, so he won't be in too much danger unless they get the Light Strike Array. But Carl's not even going to try for it. He'll just let him walk out. He just wants to be able to land this one as Cuckoo. He'll run towards the left, but Alacrity is still on the chase. I don't believe he's in range, but the Aether Remnant right on the side. But it won't matter because they do get the Earth Spike and the split out. Alacrity now going to be in danger. He's going to try and dissimulate back towards Whitemon, and we'll go after him, but the stuns are there. Cuckoo, he'll just hold him down. Another step charge by Whitemon. He'll survive with the Fairy Fire, and now the Cold Embrace. He just won't die until Alacrity dies himself, and now Mizu, he could be in danger, but no, he'll try to chase down Cuckoo instead, and he'll go for the easy TP, but the curse is there. They just don't want to commit because they don't have anything to secure the kill onto Mizu after. But it's still a nice trade for T1. Like, you got a pos 5 Lion, but it's for the sake of your mid Void Spirit.
Yeah, it's not worthwhile for GXR, and you can kind of see GXR feels pressure to make these plays happen with Alacrity, with his level 7, level 8 spikes. He knows he has to be around a map. He knows he's not going to be sitting in that jungle, as that's the designated space for In Your Dream. So he wants to keep finding these kills. It's just unfortunate it took a bit too long. Brewmaster's a bit tanky to dive and came right off the back of the next Primal Split, and that does cost him. So GXR still sort of clumping around bot though. Mizu, Jokam still around the area. Probably just going to look to secure that push.
Look at this In Your Dream. Look at the stacks. They're getting the Curse of Avernus off in preparation for In Your Dream. So he has a mini Mask of Madness going on from Polison, and then he's got his real Mask of Madness going on. Very nice little play here from GXR, and this is really going to allow In Your Dream to escalate and farm. Those are a lot of stacks being made.
Oh yeah. He's all the way up there in net word, only behind Carl right now. So he's way above what Savage has in terms of what's coming out. And this is where T1's falling a bit flat. They haven't played in that top jungle. They only really planted the sentry in the ancient camp, but they haven't done anything about these large camps. So In Your Dream gets a huge injection of gold, is going to be farming in.
Finger is out, they'll trade. So in the end, that smoke rotation, while it was still worth, you lost Alacrity another time. That's his 4th death of this game 1.
Yeah, he has to be a lot more cautious. There's a lot of good hold in T1 to lock in the Void Spirit. You can't afford to just be frontlining like that for your team. And the punishment is good. Still feels better for GXR because killing the mid with your own mid does give you a little bit more in terms of the XP trade. Carl was not there to soak. I say that, but it doesn't matter when Carl is level 12 and Alacrity is still level 9. So with that kind of deficit, it's still not giving GXR enough to really bounce back in. They are still securing that safe farm for their Luna, though. In Your Dream is just clearing out the triangle. No Ancients, but they did manage to get the D-Ward on the Sentry, so it should spawn up on the next minute. And it feels like it's starting to build up here on the Luna. They are clumping around top, though.
Yeah, they want Jokam. Hex is out from Whitemon. No Spy Carapace going to be there. Jokam, he's just gone. Nice little setup there from Savage and Whitemon, and of course, now with that Metamorphosis, they will try to go after that tier 1 top tower. And the same will happen at the bot lane. They are just going to trade. Cuckoo needs to be careful, but he does have the split. Looks like Polison won't really be able to keep up with him anyway, though Alacrity will. The Aether Remnant is not going to last. Each other alone. I think GXR is still quite happy about this, considering In Your Dream is farming so well. But the only problem I see is Savage is quickly catching up. And I mean quickly.
Yeah, they just haven't hunted that terribly down. You'd expect with a Nyx, you could maybe look for those sneaky Vendetta plays and catch him out, although, cool.
Arcane Rune taken by Jokam, but it may cost him his life as the Light Strike Array and Finger is out with the Laguna. They will really just squash the bug. And GXR, they're going to deny the T1 mid tower. They'll let it go. That is going to open up the map a little bit here for T1. Who I don't believe are anywhere near losing their own tier 1 mid tower. So things are looking pretty bright for them on the Radiant side. Mind you, Mizu does have the Aghanim Scepter up now. So if you're Mizu, you've got this really nice kind of HP buff for your team. Obviously a lot more Iron Chills. You keep all the lanes pushed out. And GXR eventually should be able to abuse this power spike on the Darkseid.
Yeah, they can look to line up. They've got a lot of tankiness on hand. They just haven't grouped up as 5 to get that done yet. Like, you've got the VAC combinations on hand. They haven't really leveraged it. And for the most part, I think T1's response has been pretty good. They just have Savage playing up top. He's protected by one Obs ward on the top part of that jungle. He's just farming. No one's stopping him, keeping up pace with Luna for initiation. Looks like they might commit onto Zephyr, but he already TP's out in time.
T1, they huddle around the mid tier 1, but it doesn't mean anything. They're just kind of watching it go down as Whitemon. They know he's there. The Iron Shells. Look at the damage output. The curse is there, though. They'll hold him down. Now the split is out. A 3-man Earth Spike as well, just to hold them all down. But do they have the damage? Carl is still down. About to respawn in 5. But they need him right now as another Impulse there. They do connect on Savage. However, Jokam, he does drop. So they got the Nyx Assassin. GXR, as soon as they see that, they do back. Poor old Whitemon. He almost died just to Iron Shells.
I love that play, though. It's ballsy. It's almost the same thing what happened with Carl. Carl died because he just casually Dragon Slaved the mid lane, and Spike Carapace is a very nice spell against that, so you have to watch yourself if you're the Lina in this game. If you don't have vision, you have to assume the Nyx is running around, waiting for a Spike Carapace opportunity. Still, GXR shouldn't be feeling too bad. They get the mid-tier 1 to equalize, they find a decent enough kill, and they kind of even out.
He'll be chased down. Rest of the team gonna join him in. Cuckoo, Primal Split, not off yet. The Aether Remnant gonna lock him down, but eventually he does get it off. He will not drop to the damage output of Alacrity. And now Carl will set up onto the Void Spirit. Laguna blades him down. It'll be a 2-for-0 trade. And guess what, John? T1, they do have a Roshing lineup.
They've got the double damage running on Carl for a little. You gotta find a backline. Maybe if you cap it on utility without item pickup. GXR, it feels like they need to wait for Alacrity's Ags. Like that AoE silence and the charges on the Resonant Pulse just feels way too big to ignore. It's just that the Void Spirit's been lagging behind for a long time. Even Cuckoo's managed to pull ahead, and he's died as many times in lane almost. So you're missing a key power spike on GXR, and T1, they're just going to keep smoking here.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You know you've got the advantage. Why not just keep up the pressure in the mid lane in your Dream? Just gonna wait for Paulison, who will break the smoke in your Dream. He's moving forward. Reflections there. They'll leave him be, though. Wall has been dropped as well. There's your Primal Split out. They really want Paulison down on that Abaddon, and they might just be able to get him, and they do. Laguna out will get the job done. Savage, he's looking for a bit more. He's got that Aegis up, so he's feeling very confident. His Reflection does connect onto In Your Dream, but he's gonna be alright. They even tornado up the Luna, but they're not gonna make the chase that far down. Instead, they'll start pressuring the tier 2 mid. They'll force the glyph out. But I think if they really want, they could just keep going.
Yeah, they know the wall's down. That's one big part of GXR's teamfight already off the table. In Your Dream still has the Eclipse and does have the Crystallis. So you can hit hard, but you still have to be careful with your positioning here.
I just don't think it's hard enough yet. They'll at least get the creep wave out. So Alacrity, taking care of that will mean they can't get the mid tier 2, and now
XR, they tried to shove in bot, but it's still a bit too healthy to really fully commit to. They are still staying around that bot jungle area, though. So they could maybe look to punish if someone stays behind, but they're forced to respond to that shove in top. They can't really catch any stragglers here.
Carl, that'd be a very nice pick off, but Carl, he does back off at the right moment, and it kind of goes back to one of the issues GXR have, where it's only the Nyx Assassin that can really catch anyone out, right? Like, you could try to rely on Alacrity, but he's been having a rough time. And if he's not around, your only other catch is really this Nyx on Jokam. As you saw just then, Carl, he was alone mid lane, but nobody was there to actually stun him.
Yeah, I think Alacrity with the Ags just coming out is one easier way for him to set up, but at least the silence can do some work on the backline. Maybe anyone with a BKB like Savage is still a bit too hard, but you can kind of control up Cuckoo, you can control up the Lion, the Winter Wyvern, no problems. And that's going to have to be the softer targets to go for first. to secure themselves the numbers advantage in a bigger team fight. So that's really what Alacrity and what Jocam needs to look out for. They will go for the smoke play and the defense on the tier 2 bot though.
That they will. Aegis is going to expire. This could be a pretty big opening for GXR if T1 want to keep going, but well, they are playing very clean. Carl is going to get a Yule Scepter, but there's your normal punch, but there's your curse. They really want Alacrity down. Light Strike Array is there. Laguna out. None of the damage, though, is going to be timed to Alacrity. He survives through all of it. Meanwhile, on the backside, Whitemon, he does end up going down. So they got a 1 for nothing so far. This T1, well, at least Cuckoo is still rushing forward, but will eventually have to back with the split ending. The curse, they just didn't time their abilities well after that curse. And Alacrity essentially just took no damage.
And that's a really nice win for GXR. They managed to force some big spells out from T1. Force that first BKB use on Carl as well. Well, second BKB use. And starting to trickle down to 7 seconds, down to 6. GXR, they can't really do too much for this opening though. And most of that fight was because Jocam was just invis in the middle. They had no sentries on T1. They didn't even feel the tickle of the Iron Shell, which...
It just seems rather difficult as they do ping out 23 Savage mid lane. He is very far forward, but he has his team right behind him. Trying to bait them in, but GXR, they do not take it.
Radiant are scanning.
Still smokes available on T1, but they're not going to pop those either. Scan is out to spot out exactly where GXR are. Even GXR quite hesitant to pop a smoke and try to go get something done as well. It's like both teams might just wait out the next Roshan, but that's going to be in about 2 minutes. So there's plenty of time for that. As there is going to be a DD rune down at the bot rune spot. But it looks like GXR are going to be the ones to be able to pick it up. They might be able to really assist them throughout that next team fight, and they are indeed going to give it over to In Your Dream as well. Let's make sure he has that big advantage in terms of damage.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty nice reveal if they do manage to take that fight their way. And T1 are playing it super safe as always. The next rush is still in the 1.5 minutes. They're going to go hunting. Let's see if they can get the catch out they need. They don't have forward vision, so it is a bit of a blind smoke here.
Alacrity versus the... Oh, Yule Scepter as well. Are they messing it up again? Vacuum's down. Wall is out as well. Mizu trying to help out as Alacrity. He's out of there. At least for now, but now the Hex is out. Whitemon, he's caught the big one, the Void Spirit. Does he find his way out? BKB there. Savage, he's dropping low, but he has the Sunder.
When your opening doesn't lock in that Void Spirit, and he's at the point where if you don't lock him in, he's going to be very hard to chase around. Big win for GXR, opens up Roshan, Aegis, Cheese, Ag Shard going their way. And the Ag Shard on the Luna is going to be a bit of a scary aspect. Like, he's just going to have that Lucent Beam spamming out right-click hits. He's got the Daedalus up on In Your Dream. So the damage is pretty sickening now from Luna. And this is the power spike of that Luna. This is the moment where you start to look for those last outer towers, look for the high ground. And if T1's not careful, that could be where a few of their Raxes start falling. So they need to execute a bit cleaner. Feels like communication might be a bit shaky right now. Not quite lining up the shots. Did get word that Cuckoo has not slept in lobby. We were having a bit of a chat because he did get vaccinated this morning. Apparently. So he was being a bit silly in lobby. Maybe that's carrying over here. We'll see if he can reel his team together to get that initiation. But GXR, they're not going to care about that context. 2K lead their way. They've got the advantage. They just need to find some objectives now.
Absolutely. Would you look at that, John? Another DD rune there for GXR. Beautiful.
Ice Frog, always showing favor to the team with net worth advantage. Always.
Every time.
Always a team with a slight lead. It's kind of ridiculous. Still, In Your Dreams, very scary now. And they just need, again, they need one of these tier 2s to fall. They need to commit. They're worried about being punished for the clump up. Winter's Curse is always going to make you feel that way. And that does bring caution to the forefront here for GXR. They will start to rip through. In Your Dream can still get this done solo. As long as his team isn't completely cut off from him, this should be fine. T1 just holding that high ground. Not going to look for the counterplay yet. Probably going to hold by. And GXR can look for the safer play, maybe clearing out the bot tier 2 could be it, but their wave is fairly shoved out. So they don't have instant access to that bot tier 2. Mizu's just trying to clear it out himself. Still trying to invade the high ground here on the triangle.
Yeah, that they are. Paulison start moving in there with Jocam. More D wards to come out. 23 Savage. He's going to pop the meta and just start a team fight. Paulison, that's a lot of damage out. He is going to have the borrowed time going. Savage will not stop. And now
Luna, you don't have the Manta though, but you'll still appreciate free illusions coming out here for IYD. They are still keeping the map locked in. They don't have too long on that Aegis though. It's going to expire in about 5 seconds, 10 seconds most. So they're going to miss that second life on Luna, and it does expire now. Makes the high ground a little bit less likely to pop out from GXR unless they find a pick-off. They do get the full Satanic up though, so that could still lead them to take that fight forward as long as they manage to prevent Savage from getting the hits off with a Scotty. And even then, we've seen Scotty versus Satanic. It feels like Satanic active still wins. It's like 200% regen lifesteal. Like Scotty only drops it by what, 25%? So you still kind of gain out there, 40%. You still kind of gain out because of how ridiculous Satanic's active is. And that should make IYD fairly comfy if they do get into that engage. But again, they play it slow. Another DD up top, Mike.
oh,
Look at that.
very good. Another double damage rune. And look at that Alacrity. He's going to scout it out. He probably can't believe his luck right now. He's calling over in your dream. Come on, sir. I've got the board already. Here he comes in your dream, walking down the red carpet. There's your DD rune. Enjoy. And now you've got to be wondering, should we go again as GXR? Like, even without the Aegis up. Bottom lane.
Savage had to BKB TP home from Jocam just walking up.
Wow.
So he's down to, what's that, 6 seconds.
And they've
not the
forced the
longest.
team fight. Top lane, they're going to go in after Cuckoo. Primal Split is going to be popped, but they've already had the Abaddon. They'll move in onto the high ground. Whitemon, very low, but the Cold Embrace is going to save the days in your dream. He pops the Satanic onto the Lina. They'll get Carl down. Now the Eclipse is out. They've got Savage as well. That's a terrible lead down without buyback. Very bad news for T1, but great news for GXR, as they're going to move into their first lane of barracks. There's not really much in the way of stopping them.
No curse. They do have another... Well, no, they don't have a split for about 60 seconds for next charge. And they're going to rush tier force. They know they can clear this out really fast with the DD.
Yeah, they definitely can. They've even found another target. Zephyr is about to drop, but no, he won't make it. That's going to be it. GG's called. And if you ask, can GXR beat T1 in this game, number one? The answer is now officially yes. Yes, they definitely can. They just have.
Oh, man. GXR, they played so patiently. They believed in their Luna Spike. They managed to get that far.